So when I think of Assault Mode, I think of a very terrible archetype. Just the fact is the deck was very inconsistent and just in general wasn't good. However, in Dark Neostorm, we are getting new Assault Mode support. And because of this new support, well, more specifically 2 cards in specific, this 5Ds archetype that was completely terrible and completely trash turns from a trash archetype into actually a way more consistent one. So in today's video, I'll be talking about why the Assault Mode support is bonkers. So to start, there are 5 new cards, and the first one I'm going to talk about is TG Halberd Cannon Assault Mode. It's a level 12 Earth Machine effect monster with 4500 attack, 4500 defense, and the following effect. Cannot be normal summon / set, must be special summoned by the effect of Assault Mode activate. You can only use each effect of this card's name once per turn. When your opponent would summon a monster, quick effect, you can negate the summon, and if you do, banish that monster and all special summon monsters your opponent controls. When this card on the field is destroyed, you can target 1 TG Halberd Cannon in your graveyard. Special summon that monster, ignoring the summoning conditions. So right off the bat, there is one key problem with this Assault Mode monster. Regular Halberd Cannon is not generic. And what's making it very difficult to summon is the fact that it's basically a Quasar. It requires 1 Tuner Synchro monster plus 2 or more non-Tuner Synchro monsters. So the fact that the Synchro monster is not generic and it's so hard to make makes this card basically not able to be summoned by regular means. Regardless, if you can get it out on the field, which there is a trap card that I'm going to be talking about later that does help you get this card out on the field regardless of the fact you have to use a Halberd Cannon, it still has a pretty insane quick effect of negating a summon, banishing the monster, and banishing all special summon monsters your opponent controls. If your opponent has 3 monsters and you use this effect, well, that's just so many pluses right there. As well, you're dealing with all of your opponent's monsters. This doesn't target, this doesn't do any of that. It negates a summon in general, which is always good, and just gets rid of everything. I only see this being played with Assault Reboot, which is the card I was talking about before. It basically exchanges any Assault Mode monster for a different one. It's a way of accessing this without synchro summoning Halberd. And even then, you don't necessarily want to play Assault Reboot, which I'll talk about more why later, but in general, you're probably not going to play this card. So here comes the big one. Psi-Reflector is a level 1 Dark Psychic Tuner effect monster with 400 attack, 300 defense, and the following effect. You can only use each of this card's first and second effects once per turn. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 Assault Mode activate or 1 card that specifically lists the card Assault Mode activate in its text from your deck to your hand, except Psi-Reflector. You can reveal 1 Assault Mode activate in your hand, then target 1 monster in your graveyard that specifically lists the card Assault Mode activate in its text, except Psi-Reflector. Special summon it, and if you do, increase its level by up to 4. So it's important to understand this card literally solves every consistency issue with Assault Modes. It is a 1-card Stardust Dragon Assault Mode, which is your key Assault Mode monster. How is it a 1-card combo? Well, use normal or special summon this, search an Assault Beast with Reflector, discard to add Assault Mode activate, reveal Assault Mode activate, and special the beast, increasing its level by 3, making it a level 7. In the end, you synchro the Psi-Reflector and the Assault Beast in order to synchro for a regular Stardust Dragon, set Assault Mode activate, and on your opponent's turn, you flip Assault Mode activate and summon Stardust Dragon Assault Mode from your deck. Considering this is all from 1 card, this archetype literally becomes so gosh darn better. The issue before was always getting out your synchro and drawing into Assault Mode activate, but now you have 1 card that's very easily accessible that does all of this for you. It can also change the levels up to 4, meaning you can even synchro for a level 7 or a level 9 depending on the circumstance, along with generic synchros like Omega and Black Rose as well. This card is so easy to use and has so much versatility. If you have access to this card, you have your engine going. But the issue now becomes actually getting access to Psi-Reflector. Psi-Reflector does tie the entire deck together, but we do need a way to access it other than just the 5 cards being the 3 Psi-Reflector, the 1 Emergence emergency teleport, and the 1 for 1. Sure, there are other means, like maybe you go ahead and summon Needle Fiber and summon this from deck, but it won't have its effect. It's a whole thing. My point is we need other efficient methods of getting access to this card. And well, this set did not disappoint with Assault Sniper. Assault Sniper is a level 4 Earth Beast Warrior effect monster with 1600 attack, 800 defense, and the following effect. You can only use this card's first and second effects once per turn each. You can tribute this card, special summon one monster which lists the card Assault Mode activate in its text from your hand or deck, except Assault Sniper. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except Synchro monsters. You can target one face-up monster you control, reveal one Synchro monster from your extra deck, and if you do, the target's type and attribute become the same as that monster's until the end of this turn. The real appeal with this card is it's a Lone Fire Blossom for the archetype. I wasn't expecting this whatsoever, but this card is definitely amazing as it's another method of getting access to Psi-Reflector. This card enables you to just get access to Psi-Reflector so much more, and because of the fact it's a Beast Warrior means you can also use the 3 TCG legal copies of Fire Formation Tanky. So now with this, you have 6 more copies of getting access to your Assault Mode monsters. Again, there are other means, like for example, I don't know, Summoner Monk can technically access this level 4, but at the same time, are you really playing Summoner Monk in Assault modes? My point is, you now have a Lone Fire Blossom that is also searchable by Tanky. This makes 11 ways of accessing Psi-Reflector in your deck. After doing the math, you can see that it is around an 82% chance of seeing this card in your opening 5 out of 40 cards, which, okay, you can argue you are not seeing this 1 out of 5 games, but at the same time, that's definitely better than not being able to summon Stardust Assault Mode unless you had like a really perfect hand from before. This new support definitely makes Assault Mode just so much more consistent, and I'd rather have an 82% chance than like a 10 to 5% chance. And overall, it's not a bad percentage at all. I would say it's a pretty good percentage and gives the deck enough access to Reflector. The second effect on this card is neat but not great. While not necessarily being useful for any of the Assault Mode monsters besides Doom Kaiser and Hyper Psychic Blaster, which you don't even play those 2 Assault modes anyway, so what's the point in, you know, playing them? It can also enable access to synchros that are kind of more restricted, so maybe for example a Naturia synchro, like Naturia Barkion. I would say Naturia Beast, but it's awkward because you do need to revive and increase the level by something, so you can't actually make any monster Earth and have a level 4 on field. Assault Mode 0 is a quick play spell card with the following effect. You're going to use each effect among the first and second effects with this card's name only once per turn. Tribute one Synchro monster, special summon from your hand one Assault Mode monster whose name includes the tributed monsters. This is treated as a special summon with Assault Mode activate. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, set one Assault Mode activate from your hand or deck, and if you do, it can be activated this turn. This card is interesting, but it seems its big appeal is another Assault Mode, and it accesses Assault Mode activate very easily. The issue with this card is Reflector already accesses Assault Mode activate super easily as well by searching it with Beast and then searching with Beast into Assault Mode activate. So you're going to get access to Assault Mode activate regardless because that's how you set up your level 8 Synchro play. So then why would we play this card to get access to Assault Mode activate when we already generically are trying to get to Assault Mode activate as fast as possible with Psi-Reflector? To be fair, Reflector can also search this card, but it also requires more setup than Assault Mode activate by needing one Assault Mode monster in hand, which generically you're not trying to have an Assault Mode monster in your hand. You just want to activate Assault Mode activate on your opponent's turn to set up a Stardust. Overall, this card is pretty mediocre and may be seen as a 1-up because it's searchable, but I'm not personally a fan. The last support card is Assault Reboot, which is a normal trap card with the following effect. You can only use this card's name first and second effects once per turn each. Tribute one Assault Mode monster, special summon one Assault Mode monster with a different name from your deck in defense position, ignoring its summoning conditions. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target any number of cards with different names in your graveyard that are either Assault Mode activate or cards that specifically list the card Assault Mode activate in their text except Assault Reboot, shuffle them into the deck. So this card is the card that makes the other Assault Mode monsters viable, but regardless, this deck doesn't really need any other Assault Mode monster besides Stardust to make the deck work. Stardust is already a negate for monster spells or traps, and it tributes, making Assault Reboot not able to be used on Stardust. This card just doesn't mesh well with the rest of the strategy, and this deck definitely focuses on turboing out Stardust Dragon Assault mode. So with that in mind, this card can definitely access Halberd Cannon, sure, but that requires us to play another brick in the form of Halberd Assault mode, but as well requires us to use this card when not preferable. To be fair, this card is searchable off of Psi-Reflector, but at the same time, are we really going to dedicate another slot to another Assault mode monster? I mean, we can if we want to make the deck more focused around Reboot as well, with maybe like Trap Trick and stuff, but at the same time, I don't see that being the efficient method of playing this deck. This card generates many awkward scenarios, and I'd rather just have this be a Solemn to back up my Stardust, which you can arguably say does the same thing as Halberd, even though Halberd clears more cards. A Solemn just basically is an easy way of dealing with a summon, so I'd rather just set a Solemn than getting rid of a perfectly good Stardust for a card that is really good, but requires way too much sacrifice to set up. I'm not gonna go out and say they're like tier 1 or anything, because obviously they're not. There are still many issues with this deck. Setting up one negate with Stardust Dragon Assault mode isn't great in today's metagame, considering Salamangreat can easily set up one negate with one card as well, and it's just so much more consistent. Red Reboot can shred this deck to pieces, and every assault mode besides Stardust is either not summonable through Psi-Reflector in a pure assault mode deck, or, I mean, just is terrible. Psi-Reflector is actually bonkers, considering how it completely changes this archetype and makes it playable, along with the Lonefire Blossom to access it. Overall, the deck received a ginormous consistency boost, but it still doesn't pack enough power to be relevant. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to support me further than just watching my YouTube videos, go down into the description and support me on Patreon. It helps out quite immensely. As well, if you guys want to talk to me further than just my YouTube comment section, go down into the description and join my Discord server. Thank you guys so much for watching, and with that, I hope to see you soon.